Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are recharged 100%.
Set a course to Dark Waters 9.
I think that, like TVs and phones and computers and stuff, they're kind of eerily similar to, like scrying mirrors used by witches, you know? Let me explain. So you got the television, where they tell a vision, right? And on their television, they have some broadcasting of spells, yeah? And then they got the channels, kind of like channeling of spells. Got the programs, the mental programming, you know? Devices. It just so happens that the notorious druid wizards made their wands from Hollywood. Oh, the wood of a holly tree. That's a cool coincidence there. You know? You got your cell phone, prison cell, with your lock screen, you know? Got the internet, networking, you know? What do you use a net for? I think you use a net to catch people, you know, kind of to trap people. A web site, kind of like a spider web, you know, also used to trap things. Monitor, who are they monitoring? A server? Who are we serving? What are we serving, you know? Why is it called a firewall? Why is it called a freaking mouse? You know, don't they test on mice in labs? And you got your keyboard. Key to what? You know, what doors am I opening with my keyboard, you know? What are these keys leading to, you know? Am I onto something, or am I schizo? Am I schizo? Oh, I'm back on schizogram. He's totally schizo.
And you can't forget about the remote control. This next video is just a theory, it's not fact. Do your own research on everything and don't believe everything you hear or see on this video. Let's dive in.
This video was taken in upstate North Carolina on December 7th. And if you know anything about the weather, you know sometimes it's misty and foggy out. But I've done this exact same experiment, taking a high-power flashlight outside at night, when there was no humidity, no moisture, no pollen, no dust, but instead a bunch of planes flying around all day, releasing condensation. You go out at night and you will see a dry particle storm. This reminds me of the meme, "You think that's air you're breathing?" Dude, we're talking advanced technology. We're talking a covert assault on humanity. You think those planes are driving around willy-nillying around? Something's happening, dude, and there are whistleblowers speaking out about it, which you don't hear because it gets censored. Some say it's smart dust. Others say it's nanopolymers that are self-assimilating. Others say it's simply only heavy metals, which isn't really that simple, but they are finding heavy metals at exceedingly high amounts in even some of the most remote regions in the world. We have patents, we have treaties in between countries in regards to things up there being sprayed. The UK just announced they're going to test dimming the sun to fight the climate. How do they do that exactly? By injecting things into the atmosphere. Don't take my word for it though. Next time you see a heavy spray day, go out at night, and again, you gotta account for, is it pollen-y? Is it super misty today? Or is it a dry, normal day, but a lot of activity in the skies going on? Go out with a flashlight and tell me you don't want to detox after you freaking see this.
It looks like snow. It looks like a blizzard outside. Something I would recommend possibly is it possible we can take like a mason jar, scoop it, you know, and test it and see what we can find.
So we have to understand how evil eye forms. See, evil eye forms in the mental plane. So we have to understand how evil eye forms. See, evil eye forms in the mental plane when a person has jealousy, hatred, or envy towards someone. That thought and emotion becomes a charged energy packet. They then project it towards the target. This is known as a proto thought form.
They're sending proton thought attacks at you.
It is self-sustaining if it is fed by repeated focus. This thought form condenses into a semi-sentient construct and then locks on to the vibrational pattern of the target by way of resonance, either name, face, memory, or even someone that you share in soul tie or energy field with. Once this thought form is attached, it then seeks entry points by way of trauma, doubt, shame, and these entry points form microfractures in the field. So once this thought form then finds entry, it then induces mood fluctuation, bad luck, fatigue, microsynchronicities that are shifting negatively. It also begins to energy siphon back to the target and therefore creates a feedback loop as the individual then feels a mental boost from the thought form projection.
Damn, it's like an energy vampire almost from the energy thought projection, you know? Energy vampires.
Collective consciousness, when a group of individuals share a charged emotion and project it, it becomes a hive thought form. And it begins to affect the target in waves. It begins to collapse probability waves away from beneficial outcomes for the target and stacking odds towards difficulty or blockage. This collective hive construct is exponentially stronger than the single waveform. So if unchecked, it begins to fragment the individual's aura. It creates a false narrative field, causing others to feel a subtle mistrust toward the target without a rational explanation. And it begins to pull the target into karmic loops that they did not originally sign up for. To protect yourself, wear black tourmaline with selenite. Tourmaline grounds and neutralizes. Selenite clears and reattunes. Arrange these crystals in a tetrahedral pattern around your sleep space or wear them over your solar plexus. Visual.
So you mean we gotta put these tetrahedrons we've been talking about on every specimen of the day around our neck to block these? Oh man.
Visualize a luminous sphere around you, reflective on the outside, crystalline within. State mentally, all energy sent to me returns to its source, magnified by its own intention, multiplied by 100-fold of its original truth. See incoming projections bounce back as neutral light. No malice, simply a pure reflection. So we have to understand how evil.
Dang, he said send it back to him with no malice, but magnify it times 100-fold. I like that. This is going quantum for real. Protection. Quantum protection and mirror reversing on a quantum level. Quantum kung fu, basically. Uh-oh, we got another one. Thought form witchcraft.
Cognitive mass imprinting, also called aura denting, spectral consensus inversion, and thought form witchcraft. Cognitive mass imprinting is the compression of an individual's energy field caused by a concentrated group perception, especially when the perception is emotionally charged. And if the target is in a vulnerable position or in a public position, they receive an onslaught of astral projections, which acts as astrostatic. So when thousands or millions of people hold a similar vibrational frequency, opinion, suspicion, it forms a mental construct which can begin to interfere with the individual's aura, their chakric openness, and their groundedness. So this is why a lot of public figures sometimes feel different after a scandal, because their field is no longer their own. It is a battlefield of projections. Each thought emits a frequency. One person's opinion acts as a ripple. A group's shared opinion acts as a wave. And a collective viral narrative acts as a storm. If the person has even the slightest amount of doubt, this acts as a magnet to the thought projection. So when the storm finds it, it dents and disrupts the person's energetic signature. It's like a balloon being pressed from the outside inward, and this results in posture shifts, micro expressions of doubt, defensive ego fluctuation, spiritual disorientation, psychic fatigue, fog, and if not cleared, the thought form sticks to the field of the target and begins looping, creating internalized false identities.
Wow. It's saying that storm is never leaving. It is damn near in orbit around you until you can force project or however you knock it off. Prayer, fasting.
To be seen by millions is to be energetically touched by millions. So if you're unprotected, even a lie can become a wound that you feel. So this is why many public figures burn out, change personalities, and become erratic, because they're really not themselves anymore. They have then become echo chambers of public opinion, walking around wearing other people's opinions like clothes. Cognitive mass.
That's deep. I'm so glad I can be myself on here. You know, it's like if I can't be myself outside because people would try to put me in a straitjacket. So it's like I can be myself on here with y'all, which I'm extremely grateful for. I think that's why I don't get burned out. I may get a little tired here and there, but you know, I love talking to y'all. I feel like we getting closer to the truth every day, if I'm being real. Babylon cylinder seal discovered. What is this? What type of artifact is this?
In 2002, during excavations in Babylon, a mysterious artifact was discovered, a seal approximately 2,600 years old, depicting a war in which the king of Mesopotamia appears to be hurling a mysterious object at his enemies, resembling a nuclear bomb. In 2002, during
What? First thing going in my mind is this AI generated? Did they make this up? Or is this a real artifact that they found? It does look kind of new. Alright guys, I want you to drop a sentence with me with these big words. Gotta get our vocabulary better.
Very detailed. Punctilious.
Punctilious. When they hid all the artifacts in the Smithsonian and Vatican, they were very punctilious.
Very sociable. Gregarious.
I did not trust her because she was gregarious.
Very keen. Fervid.
When they tried to give me the mark of the beast, I was already very fervid of the situation.
Fervid. Very tempting. Enticing.
When she said she had blueprints for the etheric airships, it was very enticing.
Very charming. Charismatic.
When I tried to get access into the hidden parts of the Grand Canyon, I tried to be charismatic. Man, I'm never using those. You guys know what time it is. If you thought I didn't have another excellent specimen of the day for you, think again. All right, you guys see it. Title says this is purple creedite. This is from Mexico. Beautiful 4-centimeter specimen, fairly rare mineral to acquire. I see it. I love giving these the dragon scale name, you know? Like it just was snapped off some type of mystical crystal dragon every time I see these type of crystals protruding from it. What would you guys name this specimen? If I had to name this, I would call this the Lavender Dragon Scale. Alright divers, we have some giant ancient tree stumps. You won't believe it. Okay. They're doing some similarities. I see it. Where is that at? Australia? Let's zoom in. There we go. That's a little bit better. Let's see what else we can find. Yeah. That looks identical in Canada. Another one in Italy. It makes you think, how did these bad boys get chopped down? You guys know I talk about solar energy, solar technology. You know, this was a clean slice. This wasn't like they were hacking at it for like, ooh, look at that, Africa. That's the entire city, isn't it? Wow. Look, again, it's like a clean slice. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like some type of plasma edge. I don't know. But it's a clean slice. It's like, you know, when trees are normally chopped down, you know, it's by a chainsaw and it leaves a clean slice like that at the top. Now looking at this at bottom, you know, they couldn't have used the axe hacking at it, because this would be super uneven. You know what I'm saying? This was in USA. Looks possibly like Utah. They got some frozen ones in Russia. Man, these bad boys was all over the world, weren't they? This is one of my favorite topics, is these giant trees. Venezuela. This one might have got labored low-key, because you can see the edge. You know, the clouds getting trapped on top of that bad boy. This was another clean slice. Because you gotta think, we use chainsaws for these. Like, that's chainsaw, that's chainsaw. Do you know how massive something would have to be to chop this thing down? Like Titan massive. Like, these weren't giants, they were damn near titans. The first of the giants, if you ask me.
This guy doesn't know it yet, but he just completely exposed NASA for lying to us about what the stars truly are. Now, this is a crystal glass filled with water, and the sunlight is reflecting through the water, and you're going to see these beautiful, unique patterns as we slow this video down. Now, when you read the Bible, it mentions the firmament many times, a glass ceiling that is above us. It also mentions that there's waters above the firmament. Well, when you zoom in on the stars, this is actually what they look like. You see this? When you actually zoom in on the stars, you use a Nikon P900 or a 1000, you know, anything other than what NASA shows you, this is what we see. Because the stars are actually frequencies of light within the waters above, because it's as above, so below. Read your Bible. It's literally the first book of the Bible, Genesis 1:7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And this is what the stars actually look like. All this right here, not what NASA shows you. And again, when we're looking at, you know, water through a glass, the sunlight, look at this. It looks awfully familiar now, doesn't it? It looks very similar. The only difference is the stars are actually frequencies of light. Now, listen, guys. They've lied to you about everything. If you want to crack the codes to this matrix, if you want to escape this system, you need to learn the truth to our reality. You need to learn the truth to ourselves.
These are just theories, not facts. Do your own research on everything. Why do our veins look green under brown skin?
Our true skin color is green, not brown. We are brown because we lost the 12th element called magnesium, and that magnesium was replaced with iron. So we rusted from green to brown. Our body is made up of 70% water. When you mix iron with the water and oxygen, you get the color brown, which is rust. This is why most cultures depict their deity as having green skin, such as Osiris and Ptah, and blue skin, as you see Krishna. Most Nubian babies are also born with green Mongolian spots. Our blood was also green, chlorophyll, which is why we have green veins. And if you place a ring on your finger and cut off the oxygen, Your finger is going to be green, which tells you that our true skin color is green. Our cells also contain a pigmentation called chromatophore. Chromatophore gave us the ability to change color and camouflage into any environment and hide from predators, just like lizards and reptiles do. So as the planet Earth was growing, everything was alive, and our skin was green. Our blood was chlorophyll. There was no because everything was alive. There were no poisonous plants until 36 million years after, because we were born to grow and expand our consciousness and grow into many suns and travel beyond the stars, becoming one with all. Our true skin color is green, not brown.
I thought it was when you wore fake jewelry is when your skin turned different colors. You know, I don't know about this one, but it does sound cool, but it is giving me reptilian vibes, low key, like changing like a chameleon. You know, that is crazy. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What is going on?
Springfield Daily Republic, December 5th, 1887. The Mound Builders of Ohio. Professor Putnam's address on ancient Americans. Professor F.W. Putnam, curator of the Peabody Museum at Cambridge, Massachusetts, and one of America's most distinguished archaeologists, recently lectured before the Western Reserve Historical Society on the mounds and mound builders of Ohio. Professor Putnam spent 2 months exploring the Serpent Mound in Adams County. He remarked, "There were 4 great ancient races on this continent, or if one race, they showed greater diversity than any other on Earth. For instance, in one mound in Ohio, we found 1,500 skeletons of various sizes, differing significantly in their characteristics." He explained that the 4 great races can be resolved into 2 groups, the long-headed people and the short, broad-headed people. Evidence suggests that the long-headed people came from northern Asia, crossed the Bering Strait, continued south to California, then traveled to the Great Lakes, down the St. Lawrence River, along the Atlantic coast as far as North Carolina, eventually spreading into Ohio and Pennsylvania. These people resembled those of northern Asia in face and form. The short-headed people had characteristics similar to those of southern Asia and resembled the Malay race. The earliest traces are found in Peru and Central America. From there, they moved north into Mexico, New Mexico, and Arizona, following rivers that flow into the Gulf of Mexico, notably the Mississippi. They eventually mingled with the long-headed people in Tennessee and Ohio and were ultimately absorbed by them. He detailed the use of mounds for burial, noting the various ways bodies were prepared for interment, sometimes cremated, sometimes laid directly in the ground, sometimes placed in rough stone tombs or wooden log structures. Besides burial mounds, there are other mounds used for great religious ceremonies. Professor Putnam described his explorations in the Little Miami Valley and praised Colin Whittlesey's work on ancient Lake Superior mining and the mounds in that valley. The sacred mounds there were used for sacrifices and religious ceremonies, not human sacrifices, but offerings to fire. In one mound, terracotta figures were found, beautifully carved representations of people in restful attitudes. Numerous stone images, copper pendants, thousands of copper beads, earrings covered with native silver, and over 60,000 pearls were discovered, as if all the tribes had contributed their pearls to this altar. Several altars.
I would love to see those artifacts, especially the terracotta warriors. To know that they had terracotta statues, in the United States is wild. I thought that was something only in Asia, you know?
Were sometimes found in a single mound, demonstrating that many large mounds had purposes beyond burial. Turning to the Serpent Mound in Adams County, Professor Putnam said the serpent was worshipped by the ancient Mexicans and Peruvians, and apparently held significance among Ohio's ancient people. The mound in Adams County is constructed primarily of earth. 60 acres around the serpent have been purchased for the Peabody Museum by Boston philanthropists and are now managed by Professor Putnam, who has uncovered skeletons in the surrounding mounds from people of different eras, suggesting that some burials occurred without knowledge of earlier ones. Professor Putnam hopes further excavations will yield valuable insights into the mound builders of Ohio. Cleveland Herald, The Evening Bulletin. September 29, 1888. In the Great Serpent Mound near Hillsborough, 5 skeletons were found lying in the form of a star. each one enclosed in a stone box. The Bluffin' News, May 22nd, 1958. True Tales About Ohio by Harry L. Hale. Of the people who built the mounds, little has been learned. From measurements of the skulls uncovered in various old burial grounds, there were two different races of mound builders, the long-headed ones and the round-headed ones with shorter skulls. Nearly all skulls found in southern Ohio were of the long-headed kind, high and short. The others lived along the Great Lakes. Their skulls were low and flat. The center of mound builders' population has been fixed as somewhere in Ross County.
Where are all the skulls? Well, the Vatican or Smithsonian, of course. And I want to know where those terracotta statues are. I want to see those as well. That's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far and you enjoyed this video or learned something, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We are getting way better on the likes. I just want to thank you guys so much for that. Go ahead and drop the code word in the comments below. Today's code word is quantum mysteries. Go ahead and drop quantum mysteries in the comments below. When you do that, that shows me you're a real one. You made it to the end of the video and you really rock with your boy. And don't be afraid to participate. If you find something extremely interesting or have some input, don't be afraid to drop it in the comments below. We're all learning together. You know, we're all on this journey together, trying to figure things out. It might just be the missing piece someone needs to complete their paradigm or give them a new outlook on how to look at things. You know, of course, do your own research on everything. Don't believe everything you see on this video. It's just theories, but it makes you think. This was the most mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.